more for you, you feel it. You know it. This is your life, and it's time to go from contender to champion. This is The Show. John Madsen.
Welcome back to The Show, everybody. I'm your host, John Madsen. This is The Show. Welcome, everybody. Super excited to be here once again. Today, I'm actually going to do... This show's... I usually do shows lately, it seems, that are very much more mindset, because that's what I'm super interested in, that can be related to fitness or relationships or money. And it's a concept that when you think about it and really analyze it, it really can affect all of your life in all of those areas. Today, I'm going to backtrack a little bit, and I'm going to really talk specifically about fitness for 10 or 15 minutes. It's not going to be a long episode, but it's important because I had a couple conversations with clients, brand new clients today, or prospects, that really reminded me of the necessity to talk about what I'm about to share with you. Now, why don't I talk about fitness all the time? Some of you might be wondering, you see a lot of my content in regards to fitness, but when you really analyze what I'm about and what I do, you start to understand that this dude's a little bit different than, the fit pros that want to talk about diets and training programs all the time. And I'll tell you why. Because I really had to find this out about myself, and I encourage you to find this out about you. Sometimes you have to double down. Not sometimes. You should double down on your strengths. We all have strengths. We all have weaknesses. We all have passions. I asked a few people last year what they thought my biggest intangible strength was. And I asked people I cared about. I asked my wife. I asked some of my friends who've spent a lot of time with me. So people who really knew me, really knew me. And I wanted to know what they thought was my best attributes. If you think about this in terms of football or in terms of sport, sometimes you hear different things. Sometimes you hear about, the people who work on their weaknesses constantly and whether or not that's a great idea. Or you also hear coaches tell you to double down on your strengths. Now, I think that there's a time and place for both. I think that if you have a glaring weakness, you need to bring that up. But if it's a glaring weakness, at some point, after years and years and years, and a lot of time and effort building that weakness up into a strength, at some point it could be a strength. It's going to be hard, right? That doesn't mean you should ignore it. But you have to be very good at understanding what the return on investment of your time and effort is going to be. Sometimes going all in on your strength is going to do more to move the needle than to waste all your time working on your weaknesses. Again, there's a balance. You have to know what's best for whatever result you're trying to get. But you got to know what your strengths are. You got to know what your weaknesses are. So I wanted to know what my ultimate intangible strength was in terms of my being. Like, what am I best at? Because what you're best at is really your zone of genius. And your zone of genius, if you can play within that, nobody can compete with you. Nobody, because it's yours. It's what you're great at. It's that intangible that makes you you. And across the board, I got the same answer. Some of these people were parents of athletes that I've coached. And they saw what I could do to an 8th grade kid all the way up until graduation, where this kid would go on to play Division I sport and possibly beyond. And here's what they said about me. The best thing about you, John, is your ability to get somebody to believe that they can. Which goes back into this mindset bubble, right? And in terms of fitness, being in the fitness industry for a decade, being in the sports performance industry, coaching NFL players, coaching Division I athletes, coaching thousands of high school athletes, coaching Major League Baseball World Series champions, having all of this experience in the training world, the thing that I know to be true without a shadow of a doubt, is that confidence is king. Confidence reigns supreme. If I can get an athlete to completely and ultimately believe that he belongs or she belongs, the result that you're going to see on the field is going to be amazing. I always start with the physical. So that starts with the training, the nutrition, and we build a body that is more capable than it's ever been to perform a certain task. That's important for confidence because remember, going back to a previous episode that I did, competence is confidence. Confidence is competence. You're never going to be confident walking on the field if you're scrawny and weak. So to build confidence up, there has to be a belief that's built, but part of that belief is actually seeing tangible results in the mirror. You feel stronger. You are stronger. There's evidence that you're stronger. You feel stronger, but you also look stronger. You put on 20 pounds of muscle, you're going to be a much better football player because you feel better. Okay, a lot goes into that. But if my biggest strength is getting somebody to believe that they actually can, and my biggest interest is understanding why some people are excellent, why some people go all the way, how I actually made my dreams come true and play in the National Football League, why ultimately I feel like I didn't reach my fullest potential and have to backtrack and undo all of those events that happened, have led me on this journey for literally probably the last 6 years to understand excellence. And excellence translates into business, it translates into fitness, it translates into relationships. I want to be a student of excellence, and I want to bring that knowledge to the person because you can talk about the strategies and tactics all you want. You can talk about what meal plan, you can talk about what diet, you can talk about sets and reps and intervals and all that stuff, which I geek out about. But at the end of the day, if that's all you talk about, you're treating an outcome. You're not treating the root of the problem, which is the way a person thinks. If you want ultimate transformation, you have to go to the root of the problem, break down that person's thinking pattern and thought process, replace the faulty process with a new and improved one so that their new thoughts become behaviors, become habits, become the ultimate outcome that they want. That's where I'm interested. However, there's still time and place where I got to go back and just talk about certain tactics and strategies in terms of fitness. Because without those, and you do a bunch of dumb stuff that's out there today, and you fall for the marketing hype and the gimmicks, and you go to a local gym that doesn't know what they're talking about, no matter how you think, you might be doing the wrong stuff. So there's a time and place where strategies and tactics are very, 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 very important. But you can have the right strategies and tactics. If you never change the way you think, it actually doesn't matter. So you see the conundrum. So that's a big little intro to today, what I want to talk about for the next few minutes, which is progress, which is chasing actual progress, because progress is the thing that's going to change your body and ultimately change your being. In terms of fitness, sometimes we get caught up chasing perfection when we need to chase progress. It's not going to happen overnight. But the one mistake that I see people make over and over and over again, especially if they're a client that needs to lose weight, it's the thought that the actual exercise is going to be the catalyst to lose the weight. So they use the gym as a mechanism to lose weight, which is not the mechanism that's right. You see, what you need to do, and the whole process of what I do, is there's a big difference between losing weight and losing fat. If you want to look like a Greek god or a Greek goddess, and you want to look like the Instagram model that you see when you scroll through your feed, or you want to look like whatever you want to look like, chances are that that person, male or female, is going to have shape. Now, depending on how muscular you want to be, you know what looks good to you. Rarely nowadays, I think we're long past this, does a person just want to be skinny. Because if you're just talking about weight loss and you want to go to the gym and you want to hop on exercise cardio machines, granted you're eating the way that you should be eating, you could lose weight without resistance exercise, but you're going to get a smaller shape of a shape you already don't like because you're just literally making a smaller version of yourself. Most of you listening to this podcast are interested not only in possibly losing weight, but being the baddest ass version of yourself possible. And if you're going to be the baddest ass version of yourself possible, that means that you're going to have to add a little bit of muscle. That you don't want to lose the lean muscle tissue that you already have. And so the faulty program that you're trying to run is that you're going to the gym and your intention is to burn fat in the workout. Or that's what you think. So you're chasing the burn. You're chasing the intensity. You're chasing the sweat. The intensity meaning not in the, I don't use intensity like this, but intensity to you probably is that you just want to feel like you go. And at the end of the workout, you're wiped. You have sweat dripping off your face. It could be a CrossFit workout. It could be a HIIT workout. It could be whatever you want. It could be whatever you want, right? But you go to the gym with the intention to burn fat. And the problem with this is that every time you go to the gym, you're doing a bunch of random stuff. So you go to the gym one day and you do a bunch of random stuff. You're doing lightweight for a ton of reps because that's what you've heard. You're doing no rest intervals. You're going from thing to thing to thing to thing. You're sweating. You're done with the workout. And then the next day or the next time you work out, you do another bunch of random stuff and you're just going from thing to thing to thing to thing. And it's repeat, right? And possibly if you're a little bit more intelligent than that, and you probably are if you're listening to this podcast, you've thought about ways to split the body up so that you don't hit the same muscle group twice in a row or whatever. So possibly you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to do a push workout. Or today when I go to the gym, I'm going to do chest and shoulders and triceps. And so you actually have a little bit of a plan, but you're still going from thing to thing to thing. And your order of the exercises, maybe you put thought process into, maybe you didn't. And then Tuesday, if today's Monday, and then Tuesday, you're going to do back and biceps, you're going to program however you program. And then Wednesday, you're going to do legs. And then maybe Thursday, Friday, repeat. However you're going to do it. Maybe you do full body. Point is, doesn't matter. If you just go in with no body split and you're just kind of throwing random stuff up all the time, I would call that like a level 0 awareness. If you split the body part up however you're going to do it, like the example I just made, maybe that's a level 1 of awareness. And then next comes how you're going to stack those workouts up over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? So what type of training plan you're going to do. And chances are that most people stop at that level 1 awareness. I do chest, shoulders, and triceps on Mondays. So every Monday I'm going to do some variation of what I've done before, and I'm going to do different exercises because I want to switch it up and I want to confuse the muscles. Well, newsflash, your muscles don't get confused. You get confused and you don't get any results. So that's where people really stop, because again, they're going to the gym to just with the wrong intentions. And the wrong intentions are to tone up, to burn fat. Like, those intentions don't make any logical sense. So my message today is that instead of going to the gym with the wrong intentions, go there with the right intention. And the right intention is progress. And the only way to make progress is to keep the workouts the same for 3 to 6 weeks, so that you actually know if you're making progress. And what do I mean by progress? I mean that you can actually do either A, more sets with the same amount of weight, more sets with higher weight, or the same amount of sets with higher weight. That's progress. You're getting stronger. And if you're getting stronger, you're sending a signal to the body to adapt. Because we're adaptable beings. By doing random stuff, you're just going to stay at a stagnant level. If you're a complete beginner, yes, you'll improve a little bit, but very, very soon that improvement's going to stop. And this is what I see people do at the gym on a daily basis. Most people that go into a gym probably have somewhat of a plan. But that's where they stop, the somewhat of a plan. Their plan stops at today I'm going to do chest, shoulders, and triceps. Today I'm going to do back and biceps. Today I'm going to do legs. Very few people are actually going to take notes of what that exercise actually entailed and how much weight they actually did and stack that workout on next week's workout and stack next week's workout on the other and on the third week's workouts and then take a look at all the progress that was made in 3 to 6 weeks. So long story short, the issue is that you never give yourself enough time to actually make progress and have evidence for it. You go off feeling and your intention is to get tone or burn fat. The purpose of the gym is to get stronger and make progress. If you want to lose fat or tone up, you do that through the dietary approach. The workout is simply to send a signal to your body to build lean muscle tissue because you're going to look better with more lean muscle tissue. And if you're worried about getting bodybuilder big, don't, because they use performance enhancing drugs and you don't. This is an extremely important episode for any fitness enthusiast. I want you to check yourself. Are you going to the gym with the wrong intention? If you are, fix it. Because it makes no sense to put in time and effort into something that's not going to get you the result.
Thank you so much for joining us for another amazing episode of The Show with John Madsen. The greatest compliment that you could give us is liking, loving, and sharing this episode with all of your friends. So please go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and review, and then share it online with everyone that you know. Make sure to tag John as well. He loves to hear from listeners of the show. The links for all of his socials and iTunes are in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to engage John for anything related to his coaching, consulting, or programs, please visit johnmadsen.com for everything you'd need to know on how to engage with John offline. And lastly, thank you for your time, your attention, and your consideration. This is The Show.